What's up, friends? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Dave from Chase the Summit, and today we're going to be taking a close look at Garmin's brand new AI-driven algorithm thing called Active Intelligence and what I think about it so far after using it. About a week ago, Garmin announced its brand new paid subscription tier plan within Garmin Connect called Garmin Connect Plus. You see, on launch day, I posted a video here on YouTube to talk about all of the new features included in Garmin's new Connect Plus subscription, including Active Intelligence. However, at that time, it was just my announcement video talking about all the new stuff, but I didn't really get to test any of it out yet. And that's why we're back again today after I've used it for the past week to talk about what it does well and some of the shortcomings that come with the AI stuff. But before we get into all of this, I also do want to mention that I read the comments on these videos that I post here on YouTube. And after I posted that first Connect Plus video, I heard you, the Garmin users, loud and clear. And the general consensus is about this whole thing that you're outraged. A lot of people are pretty upset about this. I was reading comments saying, I'm selling my watch, this is gonna be my last Garmin ever. And I totally get it, and I understand your frustrations. With that said, it is important to remember that I and all of the reviewers here on YouTube don't work for Garmin. They're not paying us to make these videos. My job here is to keep you in the loop as to what's going on with these companies, what they're doing, what the new things are, and to test and review new products to help you make an educated decision whether or not you want to pay for it. Moral of the story here is, don't shoot the messenger, okay? Okay, with that out of the way, let's get into Active Intelligence. So here you can see I've got Garmin Connect loaded up on my phone, and right at the top, you're gonna find Active Intelligence. Now, it's important to remember that when you first enroll in Garmin Connect Plus and Active Intelligence, you're not gonna see this right away. It takes a couple of minutes, like a couple of hours to propagate the information that's displayed up here. But when it is finally unlocked, you'll get this little dialog box at the top here. It says Active Intelligence in beta. We'll talk about that more in a minute. And then you get a little blurb about your information at that given time. So as you can see here, it says your average stress level over the past 3 days is 28 lower than your average of 37 over the past 4 weeks. If I find that little paragraph useful, I can go up here, click this thumbs up, thumbs down icon, and I can click interesting, or I can click not interesting or report a concern if I want to do that. Another quick note about Active Intelligence is that you'll receive multiple little blurbs throughout the day. For example, when you wake up, you might get information about your previous night of sleep. Throughout the day, you might get information about your step count and how you're moving towards your goal. And near the end of the day, you might get information about the sleep that you're about to embark on. And of course, anything in between that, like going for a run or a bike ride or something like that, it'll analyze that too and give you data about that particular exercise. So for the past week that I've been using Active Intelligence, I've been taking lots of screenshots of my phone when it gives me little bits of information throughout the day. So I just want to show you a few examples of that and what kind of insights I got in certain situations. First up, let's talk about activities like going for runs, and that's primarily what I do. So you can see here, after I completed a 5-mile run at a moderate pace, I received this little AI blurb. It says, great run, your 5K running section was your best in the last 30 days. With a time of 25:12, consistency is key to improving your aim and achieve the same result on more runs. Okay, so what information did I glean from that little AI paragraph? To be honest, not a lot. I didn't get a lot of insightful information from that little blurb after this particular activity. And more importantly, it didn't tell me what segment I ran the fastest on for that little 5K segment it referred to. This was not a particularly hard run. I wasn't pushing very hard, so I don't really know where I was running fast in that 5K segment on the 5-mile run. Let's move on to a totally different run on a totally different day. Again, this was a 5-mile easy run on a different day. And after this particular run, I got this little AI blurb. It says, this activity was effective at building your endurance. You covered 5 miles at a pace of 9:22, which is consistent with low intensity training. Now with this little AI blurb, I do glean a little bit more information. If I didn't know what low intensity training was and I was new to the sport of running or something like that, this would provide some insight on knowing that in the future, maybe I should do more, zone 2 runs at this pace. But for me personally, I've been running for a lot of years. I know my paces and zones and things like that, so not particularly useful in my case, but it might be for you. Maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd call this 4 to 5 out of 10, I guess. Moving on to another example on a completely different day, and this one's kind of interesting. On this particular day, I ran twice, back to back. The first segment of the run was 4 miles long, and I was running at a pretty chill pace, and that's because I was actually pacing my wife for her long run, the last 4 miles of that particular 18-mile run. But then when we got home, I wanted to go back out on my own run, so I hit start again on my watch, and I went back out at a higher intensity for another 6 miles. Now, what's interesting about this particular day and Active Intelligence is that it completely ignored the fact that I ran twice on the same day, and it only focused the little AI blurb on that second run. Now, of course, Garmin Connect knows I ran twice on that day. In fact, you can see both runs in the screenshot on that very day. So I thought it was kind of strange that Active Intelligence completely ignored the fact I ran twice, and I think it could have provided some more insights on my training and my health and things like that if it lumped all the data together and sort of aggregated a blurb around my whole day instead of just that one activity. So in this example, I would say it's a bit of a miss, even though it did provide some insight on that second run. Let's take a look at one more activity, because this one's kind of interesting. In this particular activity, I was following a Garmin Coach workout that was telling me to do an anaerobic interval workout. And you can see here that Active Intelligence did actually pick up on the workout because it was a Garmin Coach workout. And it says, analysis of your running activity shows this was a tempo workout. You covered 5 miles in 43 minutes at an average pace of 8:22 per mile. This type of training will help maintain muscle strength and power, boosting your metabolism over time. Continue to incorporate these efforts into your routine. So in this situation, I am happy that it picked up that it was a workout. It was a tempo exercise, intervals, things like that. And it does give me some insight on how it improved my overall fitness. So in this particular example, I guess I would give it like a 5 out of 10. So those are just a few examples of some of the messages I got after each activity. But what about when you're not doing activities? Well, let's take a look at one of those now. So here you can see on a given day, I didn't go for a run or anything. It just decided to tell me about my training status. Here it told me that my recent training status indicates productive based on today's data. This means your current exercise routines are positively impacting your fitness and performance. And near the end there, it says understanding these insights can help you make adjustments to your exercise routine. Now in this case, Active Intelligence is kind of odd because it is telling me about my VO2 max and acute training load, but it's also kind of implying that I dive into the data myself within Garmin Connect and look at my training status manually to try to understand these insights. I thought that was the job of AI. I think it would have been nice if Active Intelligence were to look at my training status and then give me some insights on what I could do to progress my goals. Because at the end of the day, isn't that what the AI is supposed to do? Analyze my data and sort of regurgitate it back to me in a way I can understand it? Okay, so that's activities and training, but what about just general health data? Let's take a look at that now. So after a decent night of sleep, I woke up to this message. Your average stress over the past 3 days was 27. This is lower than your average of 37 over the past 4 weeks. This indicates progress in managing your daily stressors. And this stress message is something I've been getting a lot in Active Intelligence. It feels like I get this sort of stress message a couple of times a day. I don't know if that's because of the improvements I've made with my stress according to Garmin, or if it's just something that Active Intelligence focuses on. But I guess it is sort of useful knowing that my stressors are trending down in the right direction, and I'm supposedly I'm more relaxed. I don't feel relaxed. And then in terms of other wellness and activity data that you'll get through Active Intelligence, it feels like it defaults back to general basic step count and things like that when it doesn't have a whole lot of information to share. You can see here in one example, I got a little message telling me that my step count has increased to 106,000 this week compared to last week and 72,000 or something like that. And you can see it's telling me to focus on consistent movement for continued progress. In this case, this little AI blurb is somewhat motivational, I guess. Knowing that my step count is increasing can help me try to improve on that next week. So I guess that's kind of useful. So those are just a few examples of what I've been seeing in the past week through Active Intelligence in Garmin Connect Plus. And at this point, I just want to have a discussion on whether or not this feature alone is worth paying for, sort of ignoring all of the other features in Connect Plus, like the performance dashboard and live activity, because those are pretty cool and interesting. What about this AI blurb system they've invented? At this point, the value of active intelligence is sort of hit or miss in my opinion. If I try to look at this through the lens of a beginner user who maybe doesn't know a lot about these health metrics, in some cases, these little AI paragraphs could be either motivational or educational or insightful. So I guess I see a little bit of value there for beginner users. On the other hand, for the vast majority of users out there who have been using a Garmin watch for a while, and you already know what all these metrics mean, and you're going in Garmin Connect anyways to look at your training load or whatever, active intelligence really doesn't provide a whole lot of value. In some examples, the AI content just tells you to dig deeper into your metrics manually, which you could do without this paid feature, so why bother? The real question is, will this get better over time? As I mentioned before, active intelligence is still in beta. That means it's not completely done. They're still polishing it and working things out. And I do wonder if it will evolve over time or just get better in general insights that it provides you. I also wonder if the longer I use this feature, like maybe months to years down the road, if it will learn my habits a little bit more and maybe provide more insightful information. But as always, that's just my opinion, and I'm just some guy here on YouTube. And as always, I want to hear from you in the comments down below. If you haven't yet, go check out the 30-day free trial and try this out for yourself, and let me know what you think about active intelligence and what kind of data it's feeding you. If you found it helpful or unhelpful, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. And with that, we've reached the end of this short but sweet video. Hopefully you found it helpful and insightful in some way. And as always, if you did find this video helpful or fun, please consider going down and giving me a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel down below so you don't miss more videos from me in the future. Also, check out all of the links in the description down below where I will have affiliate links to Garmin devices, along with all of my social media profiles like my Strava, my Instagram, my Threads account, and my podcast that I try to do on a semi-weekly basis. And with that, I think we're done here, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay? Bye.